Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex sources, unpack them, and give you the essential insights. Today we're tackling a really intense piece of source material. It's a political critique called Ballad of the Exiled Devils. Highly charged stuff. Now, just to be clear, we're not here to get into the politics or, judge the facts. Our mission is strictly analytical. Think of this text as an inventory. We're going to methodically catalog the specific allegations the author makes against the ruling class, who the text very starkly calls devils.
Exactly. And what makes this source so compelling isn't that it's some dry historical record. It's more like a really vivid emotional list of alleged wrongdoings, corruption, all preserved in this narrative form through memory. So to really get what makes it tick, politically speaking, we need to focus just on the claims themselves. What exactly does the ballad say they stole? How did they supposedly keep control? And, crucially, what proof of hypocrisy does it allege?
Right. And it kicks off immediately with this really stark contrast. It paints a picture of, economic brutality. It says, when our bellies were hollow, the people looked to the skies, but meanwhile the rulers feasted on taxes, baking bread from lies. It just immediately frames the whole thing as deliberate deprivation.
Yeah, that disparity really sets the stage for everything else. The authors established this baseline: populace suffering, rulers enjoying stolen wealth. It's a powerful emotional starting point for all the economic claims that follow.
Okay, so let's unpack that, this idea of systemic theft. Because the claims really escalate, don't they? From, skimming taxes to basically liquidating the whole country. What are the specific kinds of economic exploitation the ballad lays out?
Well, it starts very personally, very immediate, things people would feel directly. The claim that rulers stole shirts from our land and, feasted on taxes. That's the entry point. But then it broadens out pretty quickly to grander scale theft. It mentions temples they looted, treasures whispered in vain.
That's an interesting distinction, isn't it? Looting temples versus just siphoning taxes. It feels different.
Oh, absolutely. Stealing sacred items. That's not just a financial crime in the text's view. It's framed as an attack on, cultural identity, spiritual morale.
A kind of total disregard beyond just the money.
That's the implication, yes. But what's also fascinating is the claim about structural corruption, how it was supposedly baked into public works. The text claims bridges, roads, every structure built for gain.
Right. So suggesting that public infrastructure wasn't actually for the public at all. It was just a machine for them to enrich themselves, like a strategy.
Exactly, a centralized, comprehensive strategy. The ballad basically claims the whole system was rigged, right from the foundations up. And this alleged wealth extraction, it apparently went into every economic layer, even the illicit ones. The text gets specific about commissions that danced in their grip, involving things like bars, hotels, casinos.
So not just government coffers, but controlling all sorts of capital flow, legal or not, a sophisticated network, it sounds like.
That's the picture it paints. And then there's this major escalation, the shift in scale you mentioned, from pocketing commissions to, the ultimate financial devastation. The text just flat out claims they bankrupt the land.
Wow. And how specific does it get about that, about national assets?
Devastatingly specific. It's not just misappropriation. The ballad makes this really extreme claim about the nation's core wealth being physically taken. It talks about private vaults stuffed with gold, including dollars and bars of the nation, claiming they're gone forevermore. That's the ultimate accusation, isn't it? That they just stripped the country bare.
So if you're accusing someone of stealing the entire national treasury, basically, the obvious question is, how does the ballad try to back that up? How do the authors substantiate something so huge?
Yeah, that's a really critical point about how the ballad works rhetorically. To counter that feeling of, it's just rumors or hyperbole, the authors put in this claim of external verification. It explicitly says that distant lands opened eyes wide and clear. And that ledgers and audits proved what our rulers stole here.
So claiming international verification, that's powerful, narratively speaking. It tries to shift it from just, local talk to something documented, something that the whole world could see.
Right. It elevates the claims of authority, at least within the world of the text. It's trying to fight against that perception of it just being political exaggeration. It's basically saying, look, even outside accountants, objective third parties, they confirm this level of theft, this national bankruptcy.
Okay, so if theft was the engine, the ballad seems just as clear about the fuel, the violence and suppression needed to keep that engine running. Moving on to that aspect, how does the text say they gained and held on to power, beyond just the economic schemes?
Well, according to the ballad, the violence was right there at the beginning, foundational. There's this really explicit, quite shocking claim. Bombs and terror paved their rise to might.
So, not just maintaining control later, but claiming their power was illegitimate right from the start, born out of conflict.
Yes, that's the assertion, that it was built on force. Which makes the later control tactics seem, well, even more chilling. The claims about manipulating society, for instance.
You mean the claims about social decay? Those are pretty cynical.
They are. The text alleges the rulers deliberately destabilized the youth. Using it claims ganja, ice, and guns, which stole youth in their reign. So the accusation there is incredibly serious, that the administration actually wanted social demoralization, addiction, as a political tool to destroy potential future opposition.
That's dark. And then there's the suppression of intellectual life, which the Ballad really emphasizes too. It claims artists silenced, writers slain. So the violence wasn't just aimed at, say, political rivals.
No, it was aimed at controlling the narrative, controlling history, eliminating critical thought itself.
Which makes sense if, as the Ballad also claims, the regime is built on fake degrees, and yet these rulers are now called wise men.
Exactly. If that's your foundation, you have to suppress anyone who can expose the fraud, who can offer the real history or point out the lack of actual qualifications. Killing writers, silencing artists. It's presented as essential for maintaining the hypocrisy, for controlling the story across generations.
So if meritocracy was fake, how did they actually run things? Does the Ballad get into the mechanics of their administration?
It does offer a glimpse. It claims the devils operated through letters signed for every scheme, promises unseen, all decided behind closed doors in shadowed halls.
Right, so a picture of total opacity, decisions made in secret, written agreements benefiting just a few, completely bypassing any kind of public accountability.
It defines their governing style as basically clandestine theft formalized through hidden deals.
Okay, linking this all together, a really key theme that emerges, especially towards the end of the Ballad, is this idea of hypocrisy. The way the devils supposedly tried to manage their image, particularly after losing power.
Yes, the text is very focused on that. It claims these figures now hide behind calculated masks of virtue and claim innocence now. This contrast between their alleged past actions and their current presentation is absolutely central to the Ballad's argument about why the injustice persists.
And the visual language it uses is quite potent, isn't it? These figures who supposedly bankrupted the nation use terror. Yet now, the Ballad says, they preach morality from their gilded ship, claiming compassion, pretending to be right. It's accusing them of this extreme image makeover funded by stolen wealth.
Totally. A performance of virtue. And the Ballad even points to visible evidence of this rebranding, like their sudden material luxury. It notes they changed their clothes, and maybe more tellingly, their transport gets a massive upgrade from old wheels to BMWs and vans.
Yeah. That shift from basic transport to flashy luxury cars is such a clear symbol, almost cartoonish, of sudden, maybe ill-gotten wealth, something everyone could see.
Exactly. It makes the alleged corruption visible, tangible, which in turn fuels people's memory, according to the text's logic.
And crucially, the Ballad anchors all this criticism in a specific time frame. It gives context for the scale of the alleged damage. It makes that explicit claim. 46 years, the nation's veins ran red.
46 years. That long duration is key. It transforms the allegations from just, isolated bad acts into something systemic. Generational trauma, essentially.
Which explains the obsession with long-term accountability.
Yes, absolutely. That's why the text uses this imagery of permanence, like when it says, the stars above remember the debt that it seals. It's like saying, even if human systems fail, this moral debt is recorded. It's permanent, part of the fabric of existence.
That persistence of memory feels like the real driving force of the Ballad. It pushes back against forgetting. It asserts that while the rulers think we forget that we've died and gone, the people, quote, remember the blood of the children born. It's an act of remembering against what it portrays as state-enforced amnesia.
Exactly. And the Ballad doesn't end with, say, a celebration that it's all over. The conclusion is actually more of a warning about the cycle of corruption. It finishes with this quite chilling image. Exiled devils marching, the thievery within, returning with pomp and with grin.
Implying the problem hasn't really gone away, it just changes its clothes, so to speak, waiting to return.
The fundamental nature, the Ballad suggests, doesn't change. only the presentation.
Okay, so this deep dive has really let us catalog the very specific, very detailed allegations inside the Ballad of the Exiled Devils. We've traced claims from, looting temples and bankrupting the nation's gold reserves, all the way to using terror, drug trafficking as a control method, and even the systemic murder of writers, all pinned on these devils over, allegedly, 46 years.
And the central tension it leaves us with is this stark conflict. On one side, you have what it portrays as deeply entrenched corruption hiding behind this mask of virtue, and on the other side, the enduring, almost physical pain of collective memory. The ballad's core message seems to be that no amount of PR, no amount of rebranding can actually erase that debt, which it insists is already sealed.
So here's a final thought for you, something to consider, building directly on this source material. The Ballad's argument isn't just about what was stolen. It seems to be about the profound power, maybe even the necessity, of creating an alternative historical record when the official records, the official history, are seen as untrustworthy. So what does this text tell us about the political need to craft such a detailed, memorable accusation, this sealed debt, especially when the very people you're accusing are the ones controlling the official narrative? That, maybe, is the ultimate power behind the Ballad of the Exiled Devils.